One of the best ways to arrive at truth historically about what a person said or did is, was that truth about him presented in the presence of knowledgeable people who would have been exposing it if it was false or anything had been added or taken away? Dr. Robert Grant from the University of Chicago made this observation. At the time the Gospels, were believed to have been written, there were eyewitnesses, and their testimony was not completely disregarded. This means that the Gospels must be regarded as largely reliable witnesses to the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But F.F. Bruce, who was probably, I think I've stated many times, the number one authority in the world on manuscripts until he died just several years ago. And F.F. Bruce made this observation about the eyewitnesses, but those who were hostile. Now, it's a pretty long quote, so don't just read it on the script or hear me say it. Think it through with me. Dr. F.F. Bruce wrote, "And it was not friendly eyewitnesses that the early preachers had to reckon with. There were others less well disposed who were also conversant with the main facts of the ministry and death of Jesus. The disciples could not afford to risk inaccuracy, nor to speak of willful manipulations of the facts, in other words, what Jesus said or did, which would at once be exposed by those who would be only too glad to do so. On the contrary, one of the strong points in the original apostolic preaching is a confident appeal to the knowledge of the hearers. They not only said, 'We are witnesses of these things,' but also, 'As you yourselves know, had there been any tendency to depart from the facts in any material respect, the possible pressure of hostile witnesses in the audience would have served as a further corrective.'" Men and women, you could not ask for a greater context to grasp truth and note of truth. Was it presented in the presence of hostile people who knew what Jesus said and did, where if they dared to add to or take away, it immediately would have been corrected.